Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Grow Folds, and today we'll be big box store plant shopping at Lowe's off of Highway 121 in McKinney, Texas. As always, please make sure you press the like button, the thumbs up button for this video. It definitely helps push this content out to more plant lovers like yourself, as well as following me on Instagram at Grow Folds. That is the fastest and most direct way to get in touch with me directly. If you have any questions about the plant or just want to connect with me in general, I love that engagement. I love meeting up with the plant foldies. And for those that are new to the channel, I call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies. Welcome. My name is Richie. I do daily 1-hour plant shopping videos. But before we get into that, I did want to announce that I am part of a plant podcast show called The Cultivation Corner. We are about to be on season 2, which will premiere on February 18th, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Definitely subscribe to the official Cultivation Corner YouTube channel. Search us. It's with Janae Simone and Stephen of I Live Plant. But as you can see right here, plant foldies, I am going late night plant shopping. It's been a while since I've gone late night plant shopping, and you can see right here, I am noticing that there are a bunch of Monstera type pillows in the outdoor patio garden sections for like Lowe's, Home Depot, and even Walmart. But you can see right here, it is super cold actually. I ended up going out here around 8 p.m. Central Standard Time when I went plant shopping at this particular Lowe's. You'll notice that there are a lot of racks in here, and it's because Dallas is actually experiencing quite a bit of a cold front right now. I know the other day it was about 19 degrees, and so it just wasn't the most favorable weather when it comes to like these indoor tropical plants. You'll see that they've actually brought some of these succulents and cactus here. I'm not a big fan about the cactus with the little googly eyes there, although at this year, you know, with the new year 2025, one thing I do want to get a little bit more in tune with is succulents and cactus. I've mentioned this in a lot of my plant shopping videos, and I cannot believe, plant foldies, I've been doing this for more than a year now, just doing plant shopping videos, and I just need to learn a little bit more about succulents and cactus. I'm a little bit more well versed in the indoor tropical plants and some of the outdoor landscaping plants. You can see right over here, we do have a bunch of cyclamens that could be right into a container. So I am really excited about seeing what this looks like in terms of just growing cyclamen long term. This is a plant that tends to come out, and we'll see what that looks like for you know, long-term growth, whether you're going to grow these indoors or outdoors. But as you can see, they have brought quite a bit of the plants indoors, and I did want to say thank you to all the plant foldies that have literally been going on to the live premiere chats every night this past week. I really enjoy the engagement. I'm seeing more and more plant foldies, new faces on the live chat. So if you are watching this video during a live premiere, which is typically at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, please make sure you are saying hello on the chats. It is a growing and fun and positive community. I'd love to engage with you guys on there. And if you are just watching this as a replay from the live premiere chats, welcome to the channel. I do encourage all of you guys that watch my plant shopping videos to leave many comments about the plants you're seeing in the videos, about your personal plants. If you have any questions for me, like I said again, part of the reason why I do a lot of this these videos on a daily basis is I really do like to talk and engage with anybody that loves plants. But we will definitely, you know, keep talking about plants, and I'm going to show you some more of the plants. But you can see right here, late night plant shopping at a big boxer makes it quite easy for me because I don't have to worry so much about crowds. There's typically not as many people shopping. And if you already know, as far as me respecting people's privacy, whenever I am filming plants at a big boxer, I try not to get anybody in the frames that I am filming because number one, I do want to respect people's privacy. It is a public setting, but at the same time, not everybody wants to be on social media. You already know, for me, I am faceless on YouTube, and it's because I really want to separate my social presence, social media presence, aside from my day-to-day, everyday, real life you know, day-to-day routine. So for those that are looking for me, if you ever want to meet up with me, say at PlantCon, for instance, I will be going to PlantCon 2025 in Orlando, Florida, February 22nd. I cannot believe it's literally just 4 weeks away, and I am so excited to meet all of the plant foldies that are out in Orlando, Florida. Please definitely say hello. I will be wearing my Grow Folds official t-shirt, so I will be easily spotted if you're ever out at the PlantCon Orlando. But as you can see right here, plant foldies, I just picked up a Hydra Helix. And as you can see right here, beautiful variegation on the leaves here. And for those that don't know why I say Hydra Helix, it's because when I first started doing plant shopping videos, I was actually mispronouncing Hedera Helix, which is the correct way to say English ivy. And for some reason, that has become a plant foldy staple where some of you guys have actually counted the amount of times, specifically my plant foldy, one of my loyal plant foldies out in Canada, Kathy, how many times I say that in a live premiere chat. So that's really the inside joke for the English ivy. But as you can see right here, plant foldies, I'm just picking up a bunch of these Costa Farms exotic angel plants. Now these are for $5.98 in a 3-inch planter. And you can see right here, this is a Syngonium berry illusion. And Syngoniums, I will say that they are fast growers. They could be easy plant care, but the only thing that is a detriment to Syngoniums is if you let them dry out completely for a long period of time, I'd say about a week, that's when they start to yellow in the leaves, and then their health quickly, and I say quickly, declines. So you have to stay on top of the watering for a Syngonium, and same thing for this Snow White waffle plant. I love all of the colors of a Snow White waffle plant. And what's interesting is this was actually a sport variegation that was found by Costa Farms, and they were able to create this version of a waffle plant. Love it, but it's one of those plants that unless I grow it in semi-hydroponics, I don't think I'll be able to keep up with the watering it requires. And then this is right here is a gold dust croton. Love the yellow foliage. Crotons really remind me of my home country, which is the Philippines. Proud Filipino American here. Kamusta, kababayans. If you guys are Filipino, definitely leave that in the comments section. But crotons are very much a plant that you would see in the Philippines or in any Southeast Asian country. They grow outdoors as full-blown trees. And it's interesting, whenever you try to grow them as a household plant indoors, overseas, it's a little bit more challenging. Now, here is another Hydra Helix. And this is actually a new variety of Hedera Helix. I haven't seen this yet. And if you really look at the shape of the leaves, it's quite interesting. This is the Florida ivy. So I'm not sure if it's just an ivy that you can find in Florida or if it's something that was patented in Florida. I'm not 100% sure, but if you look closely at the leaves of this English ivy, it's quite interesting. I'm almost tempted to buy it, but as you already know, or if you don't know, I do love English ivies, but I have sent 14. Yes, 14 to Plant Heaven. They're just a very challenging plant to grow. And I think it's because they really don't do well indoors. They're super susceptible to spider mites and even just the watering. So for me, English ivies, if you are to grow them outdoors, and I don't mean by putting them in your landscape, because I think somebody said that English ivy are very much invasive plants. Totally understand that. I wouldn't really recommend putting them in your landscape or your garden, but I would say just growing them outdoors in a container, they do much better than growing them indoors for some reason. And then over here, we've got some lucky bamboo, or also known as Dracaena sandriana. And here's the thing about Dracaena sandriana. People will call them a bamboo, but it's really not a bamboo. It is a Dracaena. This is one that is believed to give you good luck and fortune. And with the Lunar New Year that's coming around, I'm seeing a lot of these Dracaena sandriana available at big box stores like Lowe's, Home Depot, Walmart, and even grocery stores as a lucky charm plant. So there are some of those plants that you would consider as like feng shui plants, like the Pachira aquatica and Dracaena sandriana. And you can see right here, plant foldies. I'm just going to walk around and show you some more racks of the plants. You can see that they brought quite a bit of plants in here. We've got some dendrobium orchids, and that's the thing about Lowe's. They will always have orchids or orchids tend to be in season no matter what time of the year. And as far as like the season, I just can't believe that spring is not too far from now. And just the plants that we're seeing as we go shopping at a big box store, it's exciting because we're already seeing previews of the potential plants we'll see in the spring. So you already know, if you love daily plant shopping videos, especially if you live out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, please subscribe to my YouTube channel with the notification bell on. All notification bell on, so that way you can stay in touch with all of the current plant pricing that is happening in the Dallas-Fort Worth market. Specifically, I am based out in North Dallas, and I'm pretty much in a big box store, a local nursery, some place that sells plant on a daily basis. And yes, I do have a very demanding job, but at the same time, I still have these plant shopping videos as part of my daily routine. You can kind of say this is kind of a second job, but whenever you think of a job, sometimes not all of our jobs are as meaningful or as satisfying. I would just say being able to go walk around a big box store like this, it's super exciting. I can practice a lot of mindfulness. It's very much a Zen situation whenever I'm just literally walking around and filming plants. Now over here for $15.97 is a Dieffenbachia. This isn't a self-watering planter, and Dieffenbachias are a common plant that you will find at any big box store. The thing I will say about Dieffenbachia is they're similar to my favorite plant, which is, you guessed it, Aglaonemas, but their care is basically on the opposite spectrum of an Aglaonema. Dieffenbachia require quite a bit of bright indirect light. They need consistent watering. They need higher humidity levels. And so if you don't provide that particular environment for the Dieffenbachia, then they get a little bit leggy. They get a little bit more caney. And so for me, Dieffenbachia, as beautiful and as bright as their foliage is, I really have to not put as many Dieffenbachia in my plant collection. Now here's the thing, storytelling time. I ended up actually buying plants from Green Spaces ID, which is an Indonesian nursery that imports and exports plants to many places in the world. And I ended up getting a Dieffenbachia variegated form. That was for my friend who has yet to pick it up from me. But since I've actually put the variegated Dieffenbachia in leca, which is a semi-hydro substrate, it's actually pushed out a new leaf. So I don't know if I do get a Dieffenbachia, maybe I can just put it in semi-hydro and maybe it will just grow a little bit easier for me. And that's the thing, as far as like plants, if you ever want to simplify your plant care, and there's a lot of debate, there's a lot of discussion about semi-hydroponics, whether it's really good for a plant long term, I will tell you, if you have over 100 plants and you don't have the time to simply water them, and I know that that is basically the most essential and basic function of a plant parent, is to water their plants, I would recommend converting your plants to semi-hydroponics. So I prefer Lechuzapon, but unfortunately Lechuzapon is out of stock, at least on Amazon. But as far as leca, which is a more cost-effective, you'll save a little bit more money. It may not be as effective as Lechuzapon, but it's one of those substrates that really make your plant care easy. Literally, I converted a lot of my Aglaonemas, for instance, and a lot of my plants into semi-hydroponics, and it has made things very much so less stressful and more satisfying in terms of just growing a plant collection, because we already know, plant foldies, that the part that is discouraging about the plant hobby is the care. And I know it sounds silly, but we can't literally pick up a plant like this Calathea, for instance, and think that we could just set it and forget it in our homes. That's not how it works. I forget that sometimes because I will literally acquire so many plants, and the reason being is because I'm literally going into a big box store on a daily basis. And you know, plants are very tantalizing. They're very tempting to purchase. They're gorgeous. We want all of them. They're kind of like Pokemon, where you want to catch them all. The thing is, if you catch them all, they all require some kind of plant care. And I am a huge advocate when it comes to just putting your plants in semi-hydroponics, because it simplifies the care. Now, for those that have made it into the video this far already, thank you so much for tuning in. And if you haven't already, please make sure you are pressing the thumbs up or like button. I know that I ask often and many times throughout any of my videos, and to me, I've always been very transparent of what I need from my viewers. I feel like beating around the bush or kind of insinuating something from the viewers is not my style. I tend to be a little bit more direct, a little bit more blunt. It may not always be the same flavor for everybody else, but I do find that hitting the like button for these videos, pressing the thumbs up button has really helped grow this channel. And when we grow this channel, there are just a lot more people on the live premiere chats, which is super exciting. But to go back to the plants, you can see that I'm picking up one of my favorite plants, even though it is quote basic, even though people overlook this plant, even though people find less value for the Aglaonema red Siam. This is a plant that I would highly recommend anybody that is watching my videos today or have seen my videos to add to your plant collection. These are these Aglaonema, especially the Aglaonema red Siam, which I would say is really neck and neck with the Aglaonema silver bay as being a common Aglaonema. This Aglaonema, while it's slow, is a plant that is gorgeous, easy to care for, low light tolerant, a little bit more drought tolerant, definitely more forgivable in terms of just neglect. As far as plant pests, it might be susceptible to spider mites or mealybugs, but even then it's not really as susceptible to plant pests in general. It's easy to propagate. You can separate little babies from it, and what an easy plant to grow. And I sound like a broken record when I talk about how everybody needs to get into Aglaonemas, but seriously, if you are going to be a plant foldie or somebody that watches my videos, expect that I will show you Aglaonemas, because there's this whole concept of plants that become trending, plants that everybody seeks, plants that find value, and I really think it's a lot to do with social media. So it'll be a topic that we talk about actually with the Cultivation Corner Plant podcast. My good friends Janae Simone and Stephen of I Live Plants, if you don't subscribe to their YouTube channels, definitely check it out. But we talk about plants and how they become trending or popular, and a lot of it has to do with social media. I think the world we live in is really governed by what is on social media. It's quite interesting how everybody in the United States was freaking out about 2 days ago about whether TikTok was going to be officially banned from the United States, and then it got reinstated. But a lot of our information is really pulled from social media, and so that's the reason why, as I pick up these plants, as I pick up all of the plants that you might have seen from a previous video yesterday, last week, a month ago, a year ago, I just figured I might as well use this platform to talk about the plants I want to promote, to talk about the plants I am passionate about, that I want other people to be passionate about, and that would be like Aglaonema. So definitely hear more of that from me. But as you can see here, we are looking at some of these hanging baskets by Costa Farms. This is another Hydra Helix. And this one, unfortunately, doesn't really have a cultivar name. It's just saying ivy. Now, if you really want to know care tips for English ivy, definitely lots of bright indirect light. It needs quite a bit of light. You need to water the plant as soon as the soil is dry, or at least an inch of the soil is dry, the topsoil. You need to make sure that it has pretty good humidity. And if I were you, I would continuously spray it at least once a week with pest preventative spray, whether it's insecticidal soap or neem oil. I have noticed that since I've been collecting plants again, seriously for the past year, having that routine of spraying my plants with neem oil spray at least once a week has really cut back on a lot of the plant pests. And I would say plant pests like mealybugs. I had such a hard time dealing with mealybugs. Thrifts, that is just a killer for plants in general, and spider mites. And so for me, that extra care in terms of pest preventative really does keep your pests at bay, if that makes any sense. Now, as far as the boxes right here, you can see that they haven't even unloaded all of the boxes of plants. And yeah, I know I'm being a little bit bad and being a little bit more curious than I need to be, but whenever I see boxes at big box stores, I can't help but look in there to see what plants they have. You can see that this one is on a trellis. These are the live trends plants, and Huge fan of Live's Trends, and like I've said in all my videos, Live's Trends has the most stylish, most seasonally relevant, modern looking planters and plants, and I appreciate Live Trends so much. You can see that they've got some self-watering planters there, and then we've got some pansies here. So we're just going to keep walking around. And when you talk about seasonally relevant plants, first we're going to talk about Costa Farms plants. We can see that we've got a Sansevieria superbia for $15.98 in a self-watering 6-inch planter, as well as a Pachira aquatica or money tree plant. But I love the variegation of this, and super excited that I will be doing a collaboration with Succulents Asia, which is an Indonesian-based nursery that offered to send me some super rare Sansevieria snake plants to do an unboxing review. So definitely check that out. I do love Sansevierias or snake plants because they are easy to care for plants. They like to be more on the drier side. I would say they're definitely low light tolerant, but I would still say if you want to see them grow a little bit faster, you want to make sure you're providing them with bright indirect light. And like I mentioned before, Live Trends plants, they are seasonally relevant. So with the Lunar New Year just next month in February, you can see that they already have some Lunar New Year planters. I really love the little envelopes that they have. You know, Pachira aquatica is what I would consider one of those good luck plants or prosperity plants, feng shui plants, however you want to call them or however you want to frame them. I love Pachira aquatica. It is that money tree plant that is supposedly supposed to bring you wealth and good luck. This one is for $16.98, and I really do like the planters. I even like the gold trim on it. And so plant foldies, let me know in the comment section what you think about Live Trends plants specifically. Like I said again, the more comments we have in the comment section, the happier I am, just because then I can actually engage with you guys. And if you are on Instagram, please send me a direct message. I appreciate all the plant foldies that have literally sent me pictures of their plants, pictures of the Aglaonema. And yes, you guys have started to really get on the Aglaonema trend. Send me and share with me pictures of them. I would love to continue to engage with you guys as well. So just definitely follow me on Instagram. If you don't have an Instagram, plant foldies, seriously create an account. It is super easy. That is one way to get in touch with me directly and to also connect with other plant foldies. So just a different venue, but I'm just going to keep showing you more of the plants here. You can see that this is a Dracaena Sandriana, but there's several of them kind of spiraling around, I think, a cylinder, kind of like moss pole pipe there. So that one is for $16.98. Let's just keep looking at some of the plants they have available here. And you can see right over here, Live Trends has some amazing self-watering planters. These ones are not a bad price at all. And you can see this one is a Sansevieria, or what you would call a snake plant. And I haven't really delved into a lot about snake plants, and I do want to talk a little bit more about those as I get my shipment of some of the more rare Sansevieria snake plants from Succulents Asia. If you haven't already, please check them out on Instagram at Succulents Asia. Follow them and definitely let them know you are a plant foldie. And then you can see over here, we've got some type of fern. And as far as ferns, I find them attractive, but it's not something I want to add to my plant collection. And the reason being is just knowing what is required of a fern, where you have to have a little bit more consistent watering, more higher humidity levels. For me, it's not really worth the amount of effort to plant, to grow these plants, at least in my personal collection. Now, some others may have a little bit more time invested to grow plants, but for me, I am more about plants that are easy care. And you can see right over here, a huge fan of the Live Trends ceramic hanging baskets. You can see this is an Epipremnum aureum, golden pothos. And yes, I love saying Epipremnum aureum. I've mentioned this in some of my videos. I'm curious to see how you pronounce Epipremnum aureum? Do you say Epipremnum aureum? Do you say Pothos? Or do you say Pothos? Please leave that in the comment section below. I prefer Epipremnum aureum. You can see this is an Epipremnum aureum neon. This is my favorite, Epipremnum aureum. Okay, I'll go ahead and just say neon pothos. It does sound a little bit more simple when you say neon pothos or pothos, however you want to pronounce it. But I would go and venture to say that the majority of us found plants through pothos plants. Like, I would say most people end up either getting gifted a golden pothos or have bought a pothos as a houseplant, or it's at least it would be one of the top 3 first houseplants you've ever received in your collection. And I love seeing the different types of varieties. These are the more common varieties, like this Epipremnum aureum marble queen pothos right here. I love all 3 pothos, the neon pothos, the golden pothos, and the marble queen pothos. Now they have other varieties of pothos, and as far as the Japanese pothos, specifically the Teruno World Series, I'm just excited to see that they are actually making it out into the US market. I recently acquired a Champs Ulysses pothos, which is basically a Japanese pothos that Costa Farms has been able to sell and make mainstream in the United States as a trending tropical plant. Of all places I found it, it was actually at Target. And when you think about big box stores and just shopping at big box stores, Walmart, Lowe's, and Home Depot typically are the 3 major big box stores you would find houseplants. But if you haven't made it to Target and you want to make a Target run, or you want to see some interesting Target plant finds or Target finds in general, definitely check out Target. They've got a lot of Costa Farms trending tropical plants making it into the market. They also have live transplants, and they also have urban jungle plants, so definitely check that out. But as I pick up all 4 different pothos they've got here, we've got a marble queen pothos, a pearls and jade pothos, we've got a golden pothos, and a neon pothos. I would pick up all 4 of these and actually take them to my home. I do want to acquire even more pothos than I currently have. I have actually spent quite a bit of time just taking cuttings from my pothos plants and rooting them in water. There is something satisfying about creating more plants for yourself or to give as gifts to friends. Here is an Alocasia Black Velvet. This one again is in a self-watering planter by Live Trends. And if you notice Live Trends plants and their planters, you can see that they use a lot of neutral colors, lots of grays, creams, whites, and very intentional textures and patterns, and I love that. Now this is a Hydra Helix, or what you call a millennial ivy, or a Hedera Helix millennial. Love this one as well. And if you really look at the variegation, beautiful plant. But if you look closely at the leaf shape, it's got a little bit more rounder, robust leaves. Really like that as well. And you'll notice how the Hydra Helix or the Hedera Helix have very minute differences in their leaf shape and their basically their leaf shape and even the variegation. But as I pan away over here, you can see that they've just got lots of overage on the racks. Now, in terms of just being a little bit more critical on this particular Lowe's, I do think that their merchandising and even plant selection has been better in the past, but we are in the midst of winter and things are a lot colder than we would like them to be for plants. So I'm just glad that they do have plants available. And in terms of just shopping, whenever you feel like you are going to go shopping for house houseplants. I would say Lowe's is probably the most consistent of all of the big box stores in terms of just having readily available plants, especially during the colder months of the year. You'll see that they do have a mixture of live transplants. Like you can see the very simplistic planters that they have. I love the Sansevieria or snake plant. This is the braided form. And as far as snake plants, again, if you're looking for an easy to care for plant, a plant that is for beginners, a plant that is going to give you less stress and more joy, add yourself a snake plant. And you know, a lot of times people look at the more common plants as a plant that doesn't have value because it's not, quote, rare, or it's not a trending plant. It's not a plant that you see on social media. And I'm really trying to change that outlook and try to reframe what plants truly mean or what plants can give you in terms of your plant collection. So I urge anybody that is listening to me or watching my videos to really reassess why a plant is attractive to you. Is it because of the monetary value? Is it because of the colors? Is it because of the rarity? Is it because it's a popular plant? Leave that in the comment section below. Obviously, no judgment here if you are literally collecting plants because they are more of the rare or uncommon plants. Kudos to you, because I am also in the same boat with some of my plants. I do like the more rare or uncommon plants, but as I've done a lot more of these plant shopping videos, as I've engaged and gotten to know more people who love plants, and as I've talked to my grandmother, and for those that don't know my Lola Belen, she is really the inspiration and the reason why I've even gotten into plants to begin with. My grandmother just grows plants because, number one, they really promote good health. The fact that she's going to be 90 years old next month is amazing, and she is of sound mind and body. She doesn't need any assistance in terms of walking. She still has good hearing. She doesn't really have any type of illnesses. And for me, with the new year being around, I am just hoping that she continues to have that great health and to continue to educate me and inspire me to really look at plants for not just that monetary value, but also for just the health benefits, the mental health benefits that plants give. And I think sometimes when we get so engrossed into like trying to follow trends for plants or trying to compare and contrast our plant collection, I just wanted to make sure that we're reminded that it's okay to celebrate a neon pothos. It's okay to have a collection full of pothos plants, syngoniums, sansevierias, or even better yet, somebody that is super crazy and just fanatical like me in terms of aglaonema. It's okay to do that. You don't necessarily have to be so involved with all of like the variegated philodendron or all of these different types of aeroids. I mean, if you ask me, I do love them, but at the same time, I also find joy in even enjoying this Scindapsus, for instance. This Scindapsus is an easy to care for plant. I would say when you compare a Scindapsus versus an Epipremnum aureum, I prefer the Epipremnum aureum because Epipremnum aureum are a little bit more vigorous in growth. And that's the thing. I like plants that are fast growing because I love to be able to wake up each morning. Mornings are my favorite part of the day, and I think I mentioned this before in previous videos. It's because the mornings actually remind me of a new day, new beginnings, new hope, just new everything. And to be able to wake up in the morning to see a new leaf unfurling, to see more robust growth in a plant, that's so satisfying. And I do think that, you know, golden pothos, for instance, or Epipremnum aureum are pretty fast growers, and I like that. And it's really interesting because the plants that I truly love, and I'm just gonna say I'm pretty fanatical about it, is aglaonemas. That is the only drawback about aglaonemas, is that they're extremely slow growers. Even the more vigorous types of aglaonemas tend to be a little bit slower when you compare them to like Epipremnum aureum. This one right here is a Epipremnum aureum lemon meringue pothos. If you notice the smaller leaf pothos plants, they tend to be slower growers, but at the same time, they're still pretty fast when you compare them to most houseplants. And the thing about it is, I think that if you're going to start a houseplant collection and you're shopping at a big box store like Lowe's, I want to kind of delve into more of the top 5 or top 10 easy care for plants in a future video, but definitely look at Pothos plants. Now you can see some of the substrates that you could use to put in your substrates, like your soil. I would definitely recommend adding perlite. I would also use this orchid bark potting mix as well. So when I was potting up my plants mainly in soil substrates, I would amend the soil by adding a lot more perlite as well as orchid bark. Now you can see that this is another box of live transplanters, so it doesn't look like the employees have really unpacked a lot of the plants, but let's go ahead and be nosy and see what kind of plants they have here. It looks like they've got Epipremnum aureum, or what you call pothos plants, and this is so interesting. So this is an actual sculpture of a face, and this one is not a bad price at all by Live Trends. You can see right there, $16.98. You can see that that is an Enjoy Pothos, and you can see that it is literally just coming out of the sculpture's head. That's kind of an interesting concept, and that's the thing about Live Trends. Not only do they have modern planters, very stylish planters, very seasonally relevant planters, they've also got fun planters like this. Now, would I add this to my plant collection in terms of the planter? Most likely not, because it doesn't necessarily fit my aesthetic. I think it's a little bit more random to have like a random head there, but at the same time, it looks like a lot of fun if anybody wants something quirky. And I've talked to other plant lovers, other plant foldies that prefer more planters that have a little bit more texture, a little bit more character, versus somebody like me that likes more simplistic planters, very modern shapes, very simple shapes, very geometrical shapes. That's kind of like the aesthetic of my plant collection, and I am really getting excited. I will be doing a houseplant tour. It's going to be a pretty long one as well, where I delve into not only plant styling, plant care, plant everything that has to do with just growing plants in an indoor space. I'm hoping that I can really represent a good quality plant content for y'all. It's one of those things where I don't really do elaborate plant editing in terms of just plant content. There are some other YouTubers out there that really have good panning on their videos, really has a good selection of music, etc., etc. For me, a lot of my plant videos are based on me just going into a big box store, picking up plants like this, and just filming them. I don't really talk or try to do videos where I'm talking live whenever I do a big box or plant shopping video, because number one, there's music that's being played, so that kind of flags anything that's copyright. And then number two, I just find it a little bit awkward to talk about plants, especially in a public setting, just because, I don't know, I'm pretty comfortable in my own skin. I'm pretty sociable. I will talk to anybody that loves plants, but in terms of filming, I prefer to just kind of film the plants and then go back and do a voiceover, and that's the only thing that makes it a little bit tedious whenever it comes to plants. Now, this is actually a really cool plant find. This is a Philodendron Hederaceum cream splash, and I know you can't really tell, but you'll see that there are white streaks here. I guess if you give it a little bit more light, you'll be able to see a little bit more. This is surprising because this is the first time I've ever seen Urban Jungle, or more so see a Philodendron Hederaceum cream splash make it into the market. So usually you'll see the Philodendron Hederaceum Brazil, which is basically the green with yellow, but you'll see close to the leaves there is some white margins on it, so that kind of makes it a little bit more of a subtle difference. But needless to say, that is more of an uncommon Philodendron Hederaceum. And then you can see right here, this is clearly a Philodendron Hederaceum Brazil. Now these are all for $14.98 in Urban Jungle ceramic hanging basket planters. Love it. I really would like to grow more plants on the ceiling, but the problem is whenever you grow plants that are hanging, there is more upkeep because the soil dries out a little bit faster, meaning it's not as accessible for you to just pick up the plant. You have to either climb up something to bring down the planter, and then you have to worry about the support unless you are literally drilling holes to where it can really supplement, really heavy weight. That's another obstacle in terms of just hanging plants. Do I think hanging plants look amazing for a stylistic point? Yes, because then you are actually utilizing a little bit more space aside from just your floor space and your wall space. But I don't know, hanging baskets are a little bit more of a challenging thing. And even though I do have a house, I'm not renting, it's my house, I still feel a little bit awkward with drilling holes all over. Now, as far as Phalaenopsis orchids, again, you can see there are many varieties here, beautiful colors as well. And I am surprised I haven't really been into orchids as much as like wanting to collect every single orchid. So here's the thing. The problem with me and plant collecting, and maybe some of you guys can resonate and really understand, or at least kind of sympathize with me in a sense that everybody wants to like either pick up a certain plant like this Hydra helix or the spear point ivy, for instance, and like you want to collect every single English ivy, or you want to collect every single, I don't know, Sansevieria, philodendron, monstera. For me, it's aglaonema. Like literally, I'm over 50 plus varieties of aglaonema, and with PlantCon 2025 in Orlando, Florida coming around, I've already pre-ordered quite a bit of aglaonema from some of the international sellers to pick up, and it's like a huge addiction. And if you haven't tuned into the Cultivation Corner Plant podcast, my friends Janae Simone and Stephen of I Lift Plants, we are in the midst of filming season 2. We actually spent last week filming season 2 Cultivation Corner. We've got longer podcast shows, and we've got a lot of topics, but one topic I really wanted to delve into is how do you wheel yourself from coming out of a plant addiction. And when I say plant addiction, we're talking about the inability to stop buying plants, or the inability to just be satisfied with the current plants you have. So I've seen certain YouTubers in the past gotten themselves in trouble in terms of just spending so much money. Like there was one person, I was actually watching their videos where they ended up spending and calculating more than $30,000 on plants. Now, mind you, I haven't gotten to that level or even gotten close to that level, but I do see myself wanting to just keep acquiring plants, and that has become a problem for me because I do want to be financially responsible. It doesn't necessarily help that I'm doing big box or plant shopping videos, but needless to say, it is fun to be able to talk to you all directly via social media, via YouTube videos on a daily basis. And maybe some people, I've been given feedback that I probably talk throughout the videos a little bit too much, but like I've stated in all of my videos, I do utilize this platform to kind of give you my plant insights, to talk about plants freely, to let you know what's going on with my personal life, even if you don't see me. Well, actually you've seen me, but you haven't really seen my face. That's just my way of engaging with everybody. So hopefully you guys do appreciate that candid transparency. Now, as far as this Hydra helix or this Hedera helix, Florida, I am really fascinated by the leaf shape. It's got more pointy leaves, which I think is quite interesting, and that's one that I wouldn't mind adding to my plant collection. Here is a plant that's super underrated, and this is called the Dracaena Janet Craig compacta. Beautiful plant, green plant. And that's another thing I wanted to really create a trend on, is to get everybody excited about green plants. I think that if we are to define what is trending or what is popular, it really takes a bunch of us plant foldies to be talking about it on social media, because again, social media is a very powerful platform. 1 minute something could be not so popular, and then the next minute it's the rave of the town. It's everything that everybody wants to talk about. And so it's kind of like a social experiment for me to be very intentional, very persistent, or more so, in a better way to say, very passionate about some of the plants I really want to plant influence everybody. You already know I talk about aglaonemas. I will keep talking about aglaonemas, and I hope that as I continue to really showcase aglaonemas or talk about them during all my videos, maybe you guys will be a little bit more open. Now, as far as all of the other Costa Farms plants right here, you can see that Costa Farms has quite a bit of these exotic angel plants. Most of them will start at $5.98. This is a Dracaena Florida Beauty. I love this plant. Unfortunately, it is a plant that is quite thirsty, and so it hasn't done well for me. Same thing with this Balfour Aurelia, beautiful variegated Aurelia. It's another plant that unfortunately, just because I am not much of a waterer, or I don't water my plants nearly as much, it's not going to make it in my plant collection. Same thing with this Photonia. I mean, the thing I love about Photonias is I love the veining, whether it's the pink veining or the red veining or even the white veining. Very nice plant, but it's another plant that I know with the type of routine I have around my plant collection, or more so the lack of free time I have, or at least not even free time, because I feel like you can create free time. It really depends on the priorities you have on your daily life. But for me, I just don't have the wherewithal to go in and water every single one of my plants. What's made it easy for me, again, to water my plants and maintain my plants is taking a bunch of my plants and literally putting them under the shower and just spraying them down with water. Or even a more consistent thing is just converting a lot of my plants to semi-hydroponics. That just makes it a lot easier. But as I go around here, it doesn't seem like they've gotten quite a bit of a restock, but they do have all of the plants that are pretty consistent when it comes to Costa Farms. You'll see that this is a dark mystery Polea, and I love Poleas because they've got that nice silver metallic foliage that they have, and we'll just continue to pick up plants. Here is a philodendron Birkin, and like I said again, philodendron Birkin is quite a common philodendron. I do feel like philodendron Birkin is becoming one of those philodendrons not a lot of people really want to grow in their plant collection, or it's one of those overlooked ones, and this is surely an overlooked plant. This is an Aglaonema Maria. Love that green on green variegation, and most people wouldn't really pick up this plant, but like I said again, Aglaonemas are number one, easy to care for because they are drought tolerant, they are low light tolerant, so you can put them in pretty much any indoor space and they will do just fine. Now, as far as giving them lower light conditions, they typically grow even at a slower rate, and if they're more of the pinks, reds, yellows, or whites, they're going to not have the best coloration or be as bright. But you know, even the green ones though, green Aglaonema are gorgeous. I do think that if you're going to choose between colorful Aglaonemas like pinks, most people would go for the pink versus the green, but I appreciate all forms of Aglaonema, and that is only for $15.98. So plant foldies, just continue to look at some of the plants here. I would love to know your insights about some of the plants you're seeing at your local nurseries, local big box stores, or even the video that I'm showing you right now of all the plants we're seeing. I mean, a lot of these are pretty much the common Exotic Angels by Costa Farms, but I still like to you know, show all of you guys that. So just let me know in the comment section what you think, and I'll just keep walking around and picking up plants as I show you what they have available at this Lowe's.
You don't want my heart, you don't want my love, you just want me crying over you. You don't want my heart, you don't want my love, you just want me crying over you. Thinking about you.
We've even got some Ulmus pulva, or what you call the Chinese elm. This is in a bonsai form, and I love bonsai as well. That's something that I haven't really touched base on my YouTube channel, but that is a huge interest of mine. I would say I was really more so into bonsai when I was younger. When I first moved to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I actually had an extensive bonsai collection, and that's something I want to go revisit at some point. But the thing about bonsai is it is really a hobby that you really need to grow your trees outside. Bonsai are really, it's really rare to have them be able to grow indoors long term unless they're a tropical plant. Then over here we got for $16.98, we've got another Syngonium. Look at the pink foliage on this as well. And you know, Syngoniums, again, I can give Syngoniums credit in the fact that they are fast growers. And I think that is the reason why that Syngonium plants are always going to be my first love. That would be the one genus of plants that I was really into and really wanted to collect. But the problem with Syngoniums is that if you don't water them consistently, they end up really declining in health very quickly. They become very leggy, and it's just a whole spiral, downward spiral when you don't water your Syngoniums consistently. And I know that sounds really silly for some people, because then people will ask, well, Richie, why do you grow plants if you don't water them? It's not that I necessarily don't water my plants. It's just that there are times where it's a little bit daunting. It's a little bit overwhelming. And I do ask anybody that's watching my videos, especially if you grow plants and you have quite a bit of plants, do you ever find yourself like avoiding watering your plants, or more so avoid just doing plant chores such as, I don't know, getting rid of dead leaves, repotting plants, cleaning the leaves, etc. I mean, leave that in the comment section below. And I know that I've asked quite a bit of engagement today from y'all, but like I said again, I just enjoy hearing from y'all. I know during the live premieres, for instance, there's quite a bit of chatter, and that's what's super exciting about just having a YouTube channel, is to be able to see that interaction. And so for those that actually tune in and participate in the chats, leave comments, hit the like button, sometimes even drop a super sticker, which is basically a monetary tip to support the channel. I really appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I also want to thank Costa Farms for having these 8-inch hanging baskets of Epipremnum pinnatum, Cebu Blue Pothos. Love these as well. And again, the Epipremnum pinnatum is pretty much endemic to my home country, the Philippines. These are basically considered weeds. In the Philippines, they call Epipremnum pinnatum tibatib. And these you can pretty much see everywhere. As far as the Cebu Blue version, this Epipremnum pinnatum is a pretty vigorous grower. What I would tell you though about the Cebu Blue Pothos is it does require quite a bit of light. Any type of Epipremnum pinnatum tends to do better when you actually provide it with more light, because if you don't, it will actually shoot out runners because it's looking for that light. And as far as the actual plant as well, it does require a little bit more water as well. Now, as far as this is another interesting type of orchid. I think I forgot, it starts with an O. So if anybody knows the particular plant ID orchid genus of this plant, please leave that in the comment section. But I can't get over the fact that they do have 3 8-inch Cebu Blue Pothos. I'm almost tempted to purchase it because Epipremnum pinnatum, again, is another plant that I don't mind having multiples of. So, we've talked about in the past having a more curated, more subdued, less plants in your plant collection. But whenever you're trying to have less plants in your plant collection, sometimes it doesn't really allow your plant collection to have duplicates. But for me, Epipremnum pinnatum, especially the Cebu Blue, is one that I don't mind having multiples of. It's the same thing with Epipremnum aureum, and it's definitely a huge thing for me to have multiples of the same type of Aglaonema. Now, as far as Scindapsus trubii moonlight, I've been saying this for almost a year, but I really do need to get an Scindapsus trubii moonlight. I love the fact that it's got that beautiful silver foliage. Anything that's silver, anything that has a metallic feel for it, I am a fan of. It's one of those plants that I definitely could add to my plant collection. But like I said again, with Scindapsus, I think I'm not as interested in them because they're such such slow growers when you start comparing them to the Epipremnum aureum. Now, as far as this, so what a gorgeous plant. And this one is starting to trail. Typically, I don't really see a lot of Synapsis trubii moonlight trailing, at least at the big box store. And then you can see over here, we've got another Syngonium berry illusion for $5.98. Beautiful, faint red veining, pink veining. Really like that as well. And then over here, we have a Spathiphyllum domino, or what you call a variegated peace lily. As far as peace lilies, the only way I could really grow a peace lily is in hydroponics or straight hydroponics, which is just growing them in water, or putting them in semi-hydroponics like maybe Lechuza pon or leca, because they're such a thirsty plant and I just wouldn't be able to maintain the watering requirements that they need. And then here's another Costa Farms Bird's Nest fern. This one is for $15.98 in a self-watering planter. I love the structure of this particular fern. You can see that they've got that serrated leaf as well. And this particular plant actually grows quite large long term. And then over here, we've got an Epipremnum. Sorry, not the I keep saying Epipremnum. I guess I'm just thinking of Pothos plants, but this is an Aglaonema golden fluorite, and some people would say that this is an Aglaonema green papaya. It might be because it has a little bit more green on it. I will say, if anybody from Costa Farms ends up watching my videos, I hope maybe in the future Costa Farms would actually put the plant IDs specifically for the Aglaonema, because I know that it's part of the Colorful Aglaonema collection by Training Tropicals Costa Farms, but I would love to see the specific names of Aglaonema. It's just something that's interesting to me, and it's just something that actually has a little bit more plant recognition, brand recognition. Now over here, I mean, I would even call this an iconic Aglaonema. And the reason why I say it's iconic, it's because it's so commonly found at big box stores that it's okay to be called iconic. This is the Aglaonema Red Siam. And as far as the red borders, the red margins, you will get more pronounced red when you provide it with more bright indirect light. And that's the thing about Aglaonemas. So they are low light tolerant, drought tolerant. But the lighting conditions actually impacts the Aglaonema's coloration a lot more so than its initial genetics. So better lighting for Aglaonemas will result in faster growth, or at least faster growth in terms of just how slow it's growing already, but also just the coloration. And this is another Aglaonema. Now, I really need somebody to give me the plant ID for this. I haven't had the best luck with this particular Aglaonema. So when I actually bought this particular Aglaonema at Lowe's a couple months back, it actually ended up going to Plant Heaven. It was one of the first Aglaonema that ended up going to Plant Heaven very quickly, and I wasn't really sure why. I mean, I transferred it into semi-hydro, but I may try getting this again. If you notice, the leaves are a lot more narrow, and that's the thing about Aglaonema. You have leaves that are rounder, you've got larger leaves, you got really thin leaves. There's just so many different types of textures, and it's very exciting to see more people hybridizing Aglaonema. I would say Indonesia and Thailand are the leading countries when it comes to hybridization of Aglaonemas. But as you can see right here, lots of plants. I wouldn't necessarily say again that this Lowe's is really stocked with a bunch of new trending tropical plants or plants in general, but it still fits the bill where you can find something of quality. Like this one right here, another Aglaonema. This one is for $15.98 by Costa Farms. And you'll notice this Aglaonema Red Siam has a lot more red to it. And, you know, I'm almost tempted to just purchase that because of the red coloration on it. I think that if you end up just giving it more light, though, you will be able to push out more of that reddish tone to it. Leave it in the comment section if anybody has picked up an Aglaonema. And if you have Instagram, feel free to send me pictures of your Aglaonema or your plant finds from big box stores. I've seen a larger amount of people sending me direct messages on Instagram, and I welcome it. I love it. I'm hoping to see more of you guys actually interact with me on the Instagram. And if you are interested as well, because I've had some people actually reach out to me for some sponsorships in terms of maybe plant products such as grow lights or fertilizers, please please let me know if you are. I will say beware, I am a little bit cautious about folks that are trying to get me to sponsor a product. I will say if your Instagram only has like 10 followers and nobody else is following from my followers, that sends me a red flag. And you know, as far as like scammers and stuff, there are quite a bit on social media. I will say that is also part of the reason why I stay faceless, because there is just a lot of things that are a little bit crazy out there. And sometimes when you're putting too much of yourself out there, you end up being a little bit more susceptible to scams and whatnot. Call me a little bit more cautious, but that's really the reality of social media as well. And I know that I probably spent quite a bit of time just kind of rambling on and talking about just many different insights aside from plants. You'll have to forgive me, but I'm not going to apologize. I just like chatting about the plants and just my thoughts about just things in general on these plant shopping videos. Kind of imagine it as if you were to go plant shopping with me. That's basically how things would be. Is I'm a talker. I love talking about just everything around plants and just things in general. Now this one right here is in an 8-inch planter. I have always been eyeing this Polynesian ivy, and I feel like this plant would be easy to propagate through cuttings as well as just being a vigorous grower. What I like about it is the leaves are a little bit thicker. They feel a little bit more waxy. They almost remind me of a Hoya, but not quite. And this is another one for $20.84. If I find one in a 6-inch hanging basket by Costa Farms, I may end up just buying it, but that is another plant I'd be interested in. But anyways, plant foldies, I'm just gonna keep picking up a couple more plants before I end this plant shopping video. Again, if you made it this far into the video, please make sure you are not forgetting to press the like button or the thumbs up button to support this channel. Your likes and your comments, your shares, and even your super stickers, super thanks are a huge help to grow this plant channel out. I'm hoping to get to 12,000 subscribers very soon, hopefully by the end of February. I just keep moving that date. It seems like the subscriber count isn't growing as quickly as possible, but like my plant influencer friend, Plant Poppy, shout out to him. It's not always about the number of followers you have or subscribers you have on your social media. It's the amount of people you actually inspire. So even if it's just 1 or 2 people, but they're truly engaged in the content that you put out, then that's truly what makes you a plant influencer. And you already know, plant foldies, I don't really consider myself a plant influencer. I just like to make these plant shopping videos, and I hope that I can spark joy and interest for certain plants. So we'll just keep looking at some of these plants, and then I will definitely end this video. Let me know in the comment section what you think of some of the plants I picked up today. And what I appreciate again about all of these plants is they at least maintain quite a bit of merchandising and trying to keep it as full looking as possible. I keep going back and forth and just looking at the plants. If you notice how that Aglaonema red Siam just sticks out amongst all of the greenery there, this one just has a little bit of cosmetic damage, but again, look at how gorgeous that red is. Now these are actually from the holidays. I know Casa Farms pushed out quite a bit of Aglaonema red Siams over the holidays. I think they were really trying to push that holiday color. I do think that Aglaonemas need to be a holiday plant, kind of like red poinsettias. I mean, they kind of have that same vibe if you ask me, but that is a really nice Aglaonema. And then we just have a couple more here. But again, plant foldies, as far as big box store plant shopping, I have some more videos ready to go for you throughout the week. Hopefully I can get more of these new videos out. If for some reason I'm not able to, I will do a long playing marathon compilation of plant shopping videos. I hope you guys will still engage and watch those as well, because it does give you a lot more time to interact and chat with other plant foldies. But as far as this late night plant shopping video, I hope that you were inspired to purchase plants, specifically Aglaonema. If you see that, I mean, because you can see right here from all the greenery, you can see that Aglaonema red Siam, you can see that Aglaonema golden fluorite. There's just quite a bit of them. And if you're going to ask me plant care tips, bright indirect light, water when the soil is completely dry. That is it. It's super easy and you should definitely try it out. If you like this video today, please make sure you are pressing the like button for this video, as well as subscribing to my YouTube channel at Grow Folds with all the notification bell on. This is Richie. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.